Hey, this is Darren with the One Bad Wheel Fantasy NASCAR Racing Cheat Sheet, and in this video I want to give you a sneak peek behind into the members area on what the drivers pages are all about. Last video we talked about NASCAR Loop data and the importance of that. Well, today is all about the drivers, and the way the drivers pages are set up actually again uses the NASCAR Loop Data driver rating. If you remember from the last video, the Loop Data driver rating, possible points per race that a driver can get is 150 points. And again, the NASCAR Loop Data driver rating takes about 6 different statistics from the race and crunches them, adds them, divides them, does whatever the NASCAR does with all those, where they come up with this number up to 150 points per race. On the driver page here, what we have are all of the drivers ranked according to their season-long driver rating. And again, that's just simple how that works. When they go to the race here, Daytona 500, the first race, they're going to, at the end of the race, every driver is going to have a driver rating for how well they achieved. The next week, when they go on to Auto Club Speedway, they're going to again have a driver rating for that race, and so each track, each race, they end up with their own driver rating. But then the season-long one is just a matter of adding them together and dividing by how many ever races that they've had. So once they get done at Auto Club Speedway, their rating is going to be their Daytona rating plus their Auto Club rating divided by 2 for their average rating. So NASCAR does this all season long, and that's how I've ranked the drivers on this top 35 drivers page. As you can see, Jimmy Johnson had the highest season rating of any driver, which works out very well since he won the championship. What I think is really interesting about this is that Denny Hamlin actually had the second highest driver rating of 102.36, and as you see, he finished 5th in the points. So actually, according to the NASCAR Loop Data driver rating, Denny Hamlin ran better than where he ended up finishing, which I think is very insightful into Denny Hamlin. I've got my eye on Denny Hamlin here for 2010. That just might be the next NASCAR champion that can knock Jimmy off his throne. Anyway, so we have each of the drivers here, and you can go to any driver that you want and click on their page. Let's go here to Greg Biffle. So Greg Biffle has his driver's page here, and what you get on the driver's page is a lot of information about Greg Biffle specifically. Talk about kind of just a recap of his '09 season here. So if you don't remember maybe how every driver did, kind of just give a recap of our view of how his season was, whether it was up or down, and then also give you some information about him in the '10 season. This one talks about how his pit crew actually closed out the year winning the Tissot Pit Road Precision Award, and how that could really help him on your fantasy team, to have a fast pit crew. Give you a fantasy forecast. Our take on this driver, Greg Biffle, how well we think that he would do overall on your team for the season. Further down the page, you have his statistics for 2009, kind of just a box score summary of how many starts, his average finish, average start, how many wins, top 5s, 10s, poles, DNFs, and his point ranks. And then what I really like on this page, or one of the things I really like, I actually like everything on this page, but this is really neat. This is his 5 best and 5 worst tracks. Now what we've done here is taken the NASCAR Loop Data driver rankings over the last 3 years. So this is all recent history. This isn't over his whole career, when he, maybe things were different, 5 years ago on how he's running as opposed to the last couple of years. So this is recent stuff here, and averaged all of his per track driver ratings together to determine which ones he performed best at and which tracks he performed worse at. In Greg Biffle's case, Kansas is his best performing track that he has. He has an average driver rating of 122.47, which is really a really good driver rating, actually. So Greg does great at Kansas. So if you're playing a game that you got Biff on the team and you want to know whether you're going to run him and you're running at Kansas, this definitely shows you that this is where to run him. Or if you're doing a fantasy draft, in your preseason and you're kind of putting together, which drivers do I want? You want to go through. I'm thinking of this handful of drivers. You can look and see which driver does best at certain tracks, and maybe you can build your team according to having a whole strong team that's going to do good at a different variety of tracks. So you got all your tracks covered. So there's a few different ways I can see just right off the bat that this can come in really handy for you. At the bottom, we also have a scouting report. We've got three great fantasy NASCAR players that have given us a scouting report on each of the drivers' pages. This one here is Eric McClung, who is a fantasy NASCAR writer over at On Pit Row. We also have Ryan Rance, who also writes it at On Pit Row, as well as has his own website, ifantasyrace.com. And then our third expert is Charlie Turner, the owner, proprietor of On Pit Row. So each of them have taken different drivers and given us their take on him. So that's your top 35 drivers. Just to let you know, we got an outside of the top 35 drivers. These are drivers outside of the top 35, obviously, named it appropriately. But these are going to be your start and park guys, maybe guys that are only going to make a few races. And so what we do on each of these is give you a little summary of them and give you a little maybe better insight on which drivers to have on your team. So there you go. There's the drivers pages. Hope that you see the value of the site and it's something that you like and something that would really help you wipe your buddies out on Fantasy NASCAR for the season 2010. Next video I'm going to do is on tracks, give you an insider's view to the track pages, and they have even more information than the drivers pages, so be sure and watch that video. Thanks.